What a day. Everyone really outdid themselves with the memorial. The only word that comes to mind is powerful. Absolutely fantastic. It's a great day for the Legion. It's a great day for Holbrook, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and for the United States. I wanted to thank the great folks of the American Legion, Dalton Post here, the New York, New Jersey Port Authority, the American Infidels for their dedication to making this memorial a reality. There are too many of you to thank, so I'm not even going to try. You all know who you are. I also wanted to show my appreciation for those men and women who have and continue to serve in the U.S. Armed Forces to protect the freedoms that we cherish. Certainly my tremendous respect goes out to the men and women whose names are etched forever on this memorial. Wanted to thank you all for participating in this dedication. It's a very special memorial for Massachusetts, the servicemen and women who gave their lives in defense of our freedom since the global war on terror started in 2001. It's very poetic that their lives are intertwined forever now with the events that happened 14 years ago with the relic from the World Trade Center buildings. May it always stand as a reminder. Some of you may know I'm originally from New York City. I grew up in a blue-collar community filled with firemen and policemen. The events of September 11th will certainly be ingrained in all of our minds forever. For a New Yorker, it's a little bit different. Woodside, my neighborhood, lost 34 citizens that day. My high school, Holy Cross in Flushing, lost another 17. One of which was in my graduating class, and he was a fireman that answered the bell. Some of you may also know I'm also a proud son of a member of the FDNY. My dad, Tom Moore, served the city of New York for 33 years. Woo! Similar to the story we just heard, he volunteered again 12 years later. On that day in September, he performed house watch in the days after the attack so he could free up every available personnel for rescue and recovery efforts downtown. So September 11th certainly has real and significant meaning for me. You know, some might ask, why do we need memorials? And I would like to tell you a story from 2014 that might help explain. I was on a recruiting trip in Toronto, Canada, and I was in a neighborhood bar across from the hotel I was staying at. And I couldn't help but overhear a conversation with some patrons about their perceived recollections of 9/11. These group, all Canadians, all college age, you know, they couldn't have been more than 8 or 9 when this happened back in 2001. And so I was very interested in their conversation. You know, to my surprise, it was full of conspiracy theories, and they complained how the Americans were freaking out and were so quick to go to war. They complained about the TV coverage and how it was overkill, and that there was no reason for all the air traffic to be grounded for the 3 days after the events. You know, believe me, it was, you know, revisionist history at its very, very best. So I could have never lived with myself if I hadn't set them straight that night. So I politely introduced myself, told them where I was from, and all the rest that I already mentioned to you. I had to explain to them that real people died on September 11th in 2001. I had to explain that this wasn't some, you know, textbook story from ancient history. It was at the time, it was 13 years prior. I couldn't believe I had to explain it was real life for so many people. Not only those who died, but for those families and for those who witnessed history. I re-educated them that this was a terrorist attack by a radical, extremist Muslim group. They wanted to destroy our belief system. Their evil was so hellish that they would gladly wipe us off the face of the earth if given a chance. I reminded them the pain of the 9/11 attacks would be carried forward to this very day. Every time a service men and women fell in the war on terror. You know, some gave their lives, and we have some Gold Star families here today. We're very appreciative for those efforts and their loss. Others will have to live with the effects of war, be it physical or mental, as do their family. So it dawned on me after this incident in Toronto that this is the exact reason why memorials are necessary. You know, time will pass and the memory of these men and women may be forgotten or somehow become undervalued because it's human nature. Memorials capture the essence of an emotion and bottle it, preserving it for all eternity when the eyewitnesses fade away. So 2,977 people died on that fateful day. Special meaning to me, I actually worked in the building. My brother worked in the building. My sister-in-law worked in the building, as well as countless other friends. After 9/11, Americans responded as they do. They dried their eyes, they picked up the pieces, and they vowed never again. You know, the terrorists wanted to change America forever that day, and they certainly succeeded. A sense of patriotism swept across this nation that hadn't been seen in almost 70 plus years. We came together as a people, we put aside our differences, and we focused. Some courageous citizens took a solemn oath to take up arms and protect this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I look around this congregation, I see that many of you lived what I have just spoken about. And on behalf of a very grateful nation, we thank you. You came home, sadly, some did not. We're here today to honor those servicemen and women from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Similar to those who died on September 11th, they are our friends, they are our neighbors. They are our countrymen who gave the ultimate sacrifice so that we can continue to live our life that the Founding Fathers designed for us. The ability, for the first time in the history of the world, to pursue life, liberty, and happiness on our own terms. God willing, and I'm sure there are a few Marines, soldiers, sailors, and airmen that are willing to back up God's will, we shall never have those inalienable rights decided by somebody else. So I wanted to thank all the servicemen and women for doing what came naturally when the bell rang, similar to the firemen and all of the first responders in New York. They selfishly dedicated to country, cannot be repaid. I thank the servicemen and women whose names are forever etched on the glass in this monument. Your sacrifice on behalf of a grateful nation can't even be put in words. Thank you.